Hey guys, it's Chris Hussein back from C&H Smology again for another informative service and repair video. Right now we've got deals with carb rebuilding and stuff of that nature. This video is mainly for people who are in my line of work and who deal with certain issues with carbs and rebuilds and stuff of that type. Right now I've got deals with the carb rebuild kits that are currently on the market out there. They have the standard genuine rebuild kits I have in my hand here. It's the original equipment manufacturer carburetor, or I should say original service parts. It's the carb kit that actually has the two style or was it at here, the carb bowl gasket, or it's really like an O-ring or something right here. These kits, the OEM kits, actually include two bowl gaskets. One on the left hand is for the older style, and one on the right hand is for the newer style that has the air vane on top of the carburetor. And in my other hand here I have the knockoff equivalency to it. This is a Sten's carb kit right here, and the Sten's carb kits do not include the two float, or not the two float, the two bowl gaskets that I mentioned. They only include the older style thin gasket on these machines right here, and you gotta be careful whenever you buy these aftermarket parts, because the aftermarket parts are not the same quality as the OEM ones. They may fit and they may work okay, however the quality is not there. I can tell you that right now, just simply by comparing the two needles for the needle in the seat on the Sten's one versus the original OEM one that I have here as well. You can see how this one right here and the Sten's equivalency right here in the actual bag, basically the brake and strap one's highly polished on these ones right here, and the Sten's kits that I have here, this is a whole Sten's kit without taking it apart. This one does not have it polished on the needle on here, so whenever it sits on the seat it may eventually leak, because you need two services that are completely flush and mated properly, or you'll have problems for them to seal right, and your carburetor might start leaking and causing gas to pour out of the intake, and possibly the carburetor to have the basically get flooded and have it flood into the intake on it, and possibly make the engine lock up from basically dumping all kind of gasoline into the crankcase of the engine right there. That's another problem with some of these aftermarket carb kits. Aftermarket carb kits do work in general, like I said before. However, they do have issues with them that need to be addressed, and because of those quality issues, they are a lot cheaper than the standard OEM kits right here. You can tell here, this is an aftermarket one, and this is an OEM kit right here. The OEM kit has a lot more stuff in the box. They have all the gases you might need. They have your low speed idle if you need that. They have all the foam cylinders that fit on top of the carburetor to keep air from getting down inside the vane parts on there as well. And they also include a rebuild instruction manual here as well too, to show you how to rebuild these things too, if you don't know how to do them yourself. The other thing is these kits usually run between maybe 15, 25, 30 bucks depending on the specific application, model type and stuff like that out there, where the aftermarket kits like this one right here, they can be half or probably by maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 bucks if you're a dealer out there on the market. And these things are made in Brazil too, the aftermarket knockoff ones. These kits, I forgot to mention at the beginning, they're this one right here, they are for the brake and strap, and about 5 horsepower up to about 6.75 horsepower. Or the newer style that I have over here that I'm currently working on, it's the brake and strap Platinum. It's the 7.25 foot-pounds. They don't go by the horsepower anymore, they go by the foot-pounds on the top of the engine, as opposed to the horsepower rating they had maybe 5, 10 years ago, because I think something happened a few years ago and they were dyno testing some of these engines, and the engine's capacity was not putting out the specific horsepower, so they scrapped the horsepower rating and went to a torque rating instead on there for that. So that's another thing, you don't really know the horsepower of your engine unless you have it, your dyno tester or whatnot out there. So that's basically a review of differences between the OEM versus the aftermarket ones as well. And I always recommend it. If you're working on anything, you always want to use OEM parts, because the OEM part, you can just look at them. This one right here, it's highly polished down where the needle meets the seat on here. And you got your seat right here as well in my hand. These things are so small. Here, right here, and basically your needle goes in the hole of the seat right there. And if it's not completely flushed with each other, and it can possibly leak on it because of that. So if you're doing repairs, I'd highly recommend using the new OEM replacement parts versus the aftermarket ones right here. If you cannot get the OEM parts, you can use the aftermarket ones, but personally I wouldn't warranty any work if you can use the aftermarket ones, because they do have quality issues. And I am a Stens dealer myself, so I do sell these things, and I do use them on occasion, and they do have a few issues over a few years with them, but in general they do work okay. So I'd say it's okay to use them, but I'd still recommend using the OEM kits versus the Stens knockoff ones, because you never know what type of problems are going to happen down the road. Some customer might call you up and really bitch you out and shoot you out of the phone because their machine has all kind of problems after they just had it repaired. So that's why, to be safe, be on the safe side, always use OEM parts. And if you cannot get OEM parts, use the aftermarket ones as a backup replacement. You can do that. If anybody has any questions, comments, whatnot on this video here, or if you have any questions in general, just give me a call back here if you know my number, or just simply leave a detailed message on my YouTube page here. I'll see you guys.